Today we are creating a zero-based budget for a single woman who brings home $2,891.57 a month. What's up, guys? It's Jeanetta from Cash and Curls, and today we are back with another episode of Budgeting with Cash and Curls. So if you're new here, every single month I create a zero-based budget for one of my subscribers using my free monthly budget template. If you've been watching this series and have not downloaded this free monthly budget template, what are you doing? This monthly budget template can really help you reach your financial goals and make budgeting a lot more easier and simpler for you, okay? So if you're interested in downloading a free copy of this monthly budget template, be sure to click the link down in my description box, all right? So today we're creating a zero-based budget for brown gal, hence the reason why I have on all my different shades of brown, and it's giving major fall vibes, and I love it. Brown gal is a 29-year-old single woman who lives in Cleveland, Ohio. Brown gal is currently looking to get out of debt, and she currently works as a senior manager. Brown gal gets paid bi-weekly, and her total net income is $2,891.57. So in today's episode of Budgeting with Cash and Curls, we're going to do things a little bit different. First and foremost, I'm going to create a budget for brown gal using her numbers that she provided for me. Secondly, I'm going to put my special touch and twist to brown gal's budget so that it can be a zero-based budget that will help her reach her financial goals. And lastly, I'm going to provide some recommendations for brown gal to help her win with her finances, okay? So be sure to stick around because some of these recommendations could truly benefit you. All right, so let's go ahead and create a zero-based budget for brown gal. So very first thing we want to do is to write out our income. So brown gal stated that she get paid twice a month. Brown gal's first paycheck equals out to $1,455.86. Her second paycheck is also $1,435.71. Okay, so her total income, if we was to add both of these checks up, all right, so brown gal brings home a total of $2,891.57. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into her fixed expenses. The very first expense that brown gal has is a car note, okay? And her car note is $426.59. Okay, she also pays for car insurance. And car insurance is $146.94. And she also pays the sewer bill, and that is $160.29. Her phone bill is $89.66. Water bill is $38.56. Netflix is $10.79. And she also pays for BET Plus, which is $10.79. She has Hulu, and that is $8.63. And she has her cloud storage, which is $2.99. Okay, these are Brown Gal's fixed expenses. So let's go ahead and add up all of these expenses to see what our grand total is. Alright, so far we've spent $895.24 on our fixed expenses. So I'm going to go ahead and write that as our total. So we have $895.24, okay, for our fixed expenses. Now we're going to go ahead and write out our variable expenses. Brown Gal stated that she spends about $60 or $80 in gas for her car. For groceries, she spends about $60 a month. Entertainment, she spends about $50 a month. All right. So we're going to go ahead and add up these expenses to see what her variable expenses are for the month. All right, so that's totaling out to $190, okay? So let's go ahead and get into the debts and the savings. So Brown Gal actually stated that she has completed her $1,000 emergency fund, so that is a plus. But she also stated that she was saving $100. She was saving $100 a month. Okay. And Brown Gal also stated that she had a few credit cards. Okay, so she has a credit card from Best Buy. And minimum payment for Best Buy is $124 a month. She also has a Discover card, and her minimum balance is $119 a month. And she has a Sam's Club credit card, and that is $29 a month. Okay. So let's go ahead and add up the totals for both of these. So for her savings, that's easy. It's just $100 a month that she's saving. So let's go ahead and add up her minimum balances for her debts. She is spending $272 on her debts a month. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and do some quick math and see how much money we have spent for all 4 categories to see if we finally reach a zero-based budget. So let's go ahead and do that now. So far we've spent about $1,400. This is basically like one of her paychecks. So we still have a whole entire paycheck that we could allocate money for. So now I'm going to show you guys what I would do if I was in Brown Gal's shoes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this number right in the corner just so I can know how much I'm working with. $1,457.24 in the corner. So this is how much we still have left to allocate. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and use a different marker just to show you guys very quickly what I would do to make this budget zero-based and to also help her reach her financial goals. So I'm going to go ahead and use this orange marker just so you guys can clearly see the changes that I made or the additions that I make to her budget. So first thing I'm going to do is include tithing and giving, okay? So I'm a firm believer of tithing and giving, so I'm going to do that right here. and we are going to give 10% of our income. So 10% of $2,891 would be $289. Okay. So I'm going to add that to her budget because I'm a firm believer of tithing. Secondly, I'm going to go over here and come to her variable expenses. This is drawing a red flag because it's extremely low and I don't think it's enough to last her throughout the month. So what I'm going to do is to increase this by $50. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just increase this a little bit. So I'm going to turn the gas into $100 a month. And I'm going to make her grocery bill $110, which I think is still really low, but we're going to make this $110. And then I'm going to bring her entertainment budget to $100. Okay. So these are a few adjustments that I will make to her variable expenses. Okay. Next, I would honestly stop saving. Like if it's not for a specific thing, I will make this my miscellaneous category. Okay, so if you miss something throughout the month, you can use this money that you saved for miscellaneous to kind of compensate for the things you forgot about. Next, I will move over to her debts. So I will increase my debt payments so that I could be debt free a lot sooner and get these credit cards out my life. So Brown Gal had actually stated that she had 3 debts and her lowest debt is this Sam's credit card. So today we are actually going to pay this Sam's Club card off in full. So I'm going to send $755.87 to Sam's Club so we can be done. Okay. Next, I'm going to then attack her next smallest debt, which would be her Discover credit card. All right, so her next smallest credit card was her Best Buy credit card. So what I'm actually going to do is send $541.46 here, and that should be a great step towards paying off her debt. So let's go ahead and calculate the totals to see if we've reached a zero-based budget. So let's go ahead and recalculate these numbers for our fixed expenses. So okay, so our new total would be $1,184.24. Okay. And with our increased variable expenses over here, we're going to see what the totals are. So we have 100. Okay, so we have 100. All right, so we have $310 over here. And then let's see what our increased debt payments will be for the month. All right, guys, so I made a quick little budget error right here. So this is real life, and I want to show you guys real raw footage to let you know that sometimes I even mess up. So instead of sending $541.46 to Best Buy, we're going to send $422.46. So I'm going to cross this out, and we're going to write $422.46. Okay. So that's going to go to Best Buy. All right, so now let's see what our total debt numbers are for the month. So and that will give us $1,297.33. All right, so now let's go ahead and add up these orange totals to see if we've reached a zero-based budget. All right. it looks like we have a zero-based budget. That means every single dollar is accounted for. Brown gal is on her way to paying off her debts. So let's go ahead and get into the fun part. I'm going to go ahead and give brown gal some recommendations based off of the things I saw in her budget. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into these recommendations. So I'm a firm believer of tithing and giving. Okay, if you want to be a generous person, you have to start now despite having debts. Okay, so brown gal, I would recommend that you give 10% either to your local church or a charity of your choice. And in this case, that will be $289 for your budget this month. All right. Secondly, I recommend that you increase your variable expenses by $50, okay? Looking at your variable expenses kind of makes me a little bit nervous. Seeing that you're only budgeting $50 for your groceries, $60 for gas, I'm questioning whether or not this is realistic, okay? So since this is a monthly budget, I highly recommend that you up it just a little bit so that it can be more realistic, okay? So I always say this, I would rather you guys round up than to underestimate what you're truly spending on certain categories in your life. I will highly recommend that you be very specific with your savings, okay? So brown gal, I commend you and congratulate you on getting your $1,000 starter emergency fund completed. But my question is, what is the $100 going towards? Are you saving this $100 for something in particular, or are you just saving it just to save? Okay, so be sure to be very specific. Like, are you saving it for a new laptop, a new phone, a vacation, Christmas? So be sure to label what you're specifically saving for. All right, and my next recommendation for you, brown gal, is to start attacking that credit card debt. I would like for you to create a debt snowball specifically for your credit cards and begin attacking that smallest credit card, which is your Sam's Club credit card, okay? In this budget, you could potentially pay off your Sam's Club credit card and be done with it for good, okay? So I highly recommend that you focus on cleaning up those credit cards, and once you're done cleaning up those credit cards, I want you to cut those cards up and toss them, okay? I want you to start creating room in your budget for the things that you're putting on these credit cards. So once you clean up those credit cards, brown gal, your financial future looks very bright. You will have a little over $1,000 that you could potentially use each month to do the things that you enjoy. So just think about what you can do with that extra $1,000 a month. You could potentially complete your fully funded emergency fund in a couple of months. You could start investing towards your retirement. You start taking more vacations and just spending your money in ways that you would potentially enjoy, okay? Or saving for a house down payment. There's so many things that you could do with that money. And once you get those credit cards paid off, I highly recommend that you move on to that car notes and get that cleaned up because your car note is pretty high. And then we completed the recommendations for brown gal. I have some homework for you. First and foremost, I want you to download my free monthly budget template by clicking the link down in my description box. Secondly, I would like for you to start creating your budget for the next month. If you haven't created a budget for this month, go ahead and do that right after this video. It doesn't have to be long, hard, and drawn out. It could be very simple and it could be very easy and simplistic, okay? So definitely create your next budget today. So a huge shout out to brown gal for requesting today's video. Brown gal, I hope you took something away from this video and it helped you get a clear picture of how you can allocate your money and clear up some of your credit card debt so that you can be debt free a lot sooner. If you like this episode of Budgeting with Cash and Curls, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you would like to be featured on the next episode of Budgeting with Cash and Curls, all you have to do is click the link down in my description box and fill out the form, okay? So if you're very detailed and specific in your income and your expenses for the month, you could potentially be a next subscriber featured on my channel. So my goal is to do a budget a month. So Miss Lavi, you are up next. So be sure to stay tuned for the next episode of Budgeting with Cash and Curls. All that I have for you today. Never forget that you can win with money and I am rooting for you. Bye.